Hello and welcome to Heretic Harbor. I just wanted to show you the finished product of the terrain pieces that I was building. I was able to get everything glued on and a little extra paint and some other aspects, so I figured I would add that on to the last video. And as always, I just appreciate you taking the time to follow along with me while I build all these things and get more sucked into Warhammer. So thank you. All right. So I got these painted. Just had some lavender and yellow and that tan paint I was talking about, so I just kind of hit it as randomly as I could make it. So I think once we add some basing, some things to make it look like rubble around it, it'll look good. But even as they are right now, they're pretty functional and do everything I would need the terrain to do. And we have enough room for this guy. I suppose some people might be too tall, but at least for the most part, all the models can sit on each level, which is better than I had originally planned. I realized I don't want to have a massive base because then the footprint of the terrain is too large. So I still like that it's only these edges touching the bottom, but I want to be able to put these pieces as rubble. So what I'm going to do, either extend it out this way or maybe just this way. I want it to be just barely sticking out enough so that we can do some scenery kind of rubble, that kind of stuff there. This one is already pretty thin, but I suppose I should cut it. No, that one's fine, but this one is much bigger, so I do think I need to cut this one down. Well, I suppose that doesn't make the footprint any bigger than I would have wanted it anyways. We'll just keep both of those pieces of cardboard as they are. We'll put them there, and then these are where we'll essentially try to have the more focused effort with regards to piling in the scenery. But I wanted to show you how they looked, and then just realized I had put away my hot glue gun, and I never found that adhesive spray. So I'm going to go digging around for those, and I will be back. Alright, I found the things I needed. So this is just a spray adhesive. I don't know how useful it's going to be. But I'm planning to use the hot glue to kind of make little mounds and take up the bulk of the space on the pile of rubble. And then that should add cool textures to it. And this will glue it down. But you know what? Let's make sure this is an inch. For simplicity's sake, and how everything's measured to an inch. I think if I can make this an inch, that will make it easier during gameplay to just know that the edge of the cardboard is an inch off. Give or take a little bit. There we go. All right. Let's get this stable first so I don't bump it. And then we'll look into this should be more than enough to do that. A couple extra sticks because I know I'm going to need them, especially doing this much of a pile. And let's just start because I want to get more of that adhered to this without rather get the pile started, if you know what I mean, without having to use that spray adhesive. And the spray adhesive will let me just kind of have a much more natural looking pile, I'm hoping. Okay. We got these. Let's put some more groups right there. Alright. It's actually pretty good. And let's do a little more on this side. That away. I do have some colorful, different colors of sand that I plan to put on this base as well, and potentially anywhere that it can make it, you know, just not be big chunks of rubble down to flat ground. So that should serve pretty well, just to give a little neater of a look. And while that sits and lets that glue dry, I'll do it on this one. Let's get that measurement again. We definitely want this to be can't do it, but that's all right, it still works. This should be all we need. Just kind of a strap down, if you will, onto it. And then let's get all of this pile one more time. One more pile. There we go. Alright, let's get it all patted in. Let's get one of these here. And some right there. And another pile right here. Alright. Dump this out. I'm getting glue on my hands, and I don't really want to get glue on my dice tray. Ooh, I really like this guy. I'm gonna have to stick this somewhere as a beam or something. I'll clean again. Let's see. Let's see if this can protrude out. Hold that for a moment. So I really like the idea of having that sticking out. There. All right. Got a lot of strings of rocks coming out there. But, you know, that one didn't look as good as the amount of stuff I got on this one. It's kind of disappointing, but this one seemed to have a lot more that grabbed on. So, that's alright. Serves its purpose still. Well, I guess I could just put more on. We have this big old pile here. And I've got more glue. Let's do that. Make a bigger pile. Just felt a little more scant than I wanted it to be. Let's get a little more on this side, because this side was looking a little bare. Alright, so that one looks much better to me. Let's see if we can add some more to this guy. Well, we are trying to use the last of these bits. This guy definitely looks a lot better, but let's run a little line. Think much better looking. Alright. Much happier with that pile. And then this pile. But this one has a few that need to fall off still. But that will be better. So I'll let you rest for a moment. Stack of newspaper over here, which is pretty helpful. I do believe that's all I needed to do on that. Then, because I would rather be overly cautious, I'm going to spray it with this adhesive to try to just kind of make a solid layer on top of all of that. I don't want any of these falling off when I'm playing. And this will allow me to pour the sand I was just telling you about on it. Have it fall pretty well. So I have a lot of variety of colors of sand, thankfully. So there's a lot of ways we could go about this if I wanted to. I do think, for now, I'm just going to throw on some browns. Ooh, and I don't have any grays, so maybe some yellow to match the walls, some of this white. This should be some good coloring. So, the brown I have opened. This is really don't want as much yellow as the brown, because the yellow, I think I want to have it feel like the yellow is rust, or just whatever this color is. I don't want it to be as bold. And then the white is mostly to be just on the rubble itself. Where the piles of rocks are, the white would be some kind of additional rock. I suppose it would be better if I had some bigger clumps of rocks, like there's those, they sell those little, they're somewhere in between, right? It's not sand, but it's not these bigger clumps. It's like a better variety. Probably should have purchased some of that for this project, but part of the joy of this was to try to not have to buy anything. So we are going to go with that logic. So that's not bad. It adds some color at least. I'm going to hit it one more time with the spray sealer, and then I can touch it up with some paint. I just don't want to do anything that's involving this sealer or this sand anymore. I want it to be all stable and done, and then we can paint and add decals or any extra little tidbits that are worth popping on here. Okay. So, put you with the sealer. I use this sand on all of my models, and I didn't spray them with sealer, and it makes the sand fall off pretty much every time you touch them. So I'm hoping that by using this sealer, it keeps the texture, solidifies things a little better, makes it not fall off. So we'll let these dry, and I'll get some things ready to be able to start painting. All right. So I watched a couple videos on some different ways of how to paint the metal and not have it mess with what's supposed to look like sheet metal or whatever the wall would be. And this guy is mostly what you use. So I'm going to mix up some kind of metally, I know it's weird, but all of my grays are nice paints, and I don't want to waste them on this. So I'm going to kind of mix up my own gray using this cheap white, cheap black, and this metallic purple to give it some sparkle. Not sure how much black I should be putting in. Not very good at mixing paints, so we'll see how this turns out. And that should be plenty to give it some sparkling. And adjust this if any of it doesn't seem to end up the way we want it to look. Yeah, that's not bad. So it ends up with a pretty solid gray. Not seeing as much of the metal shine that I wanted to, so let's actually add some of this like dark goldish brownish bronze color. There's a lot more than I meant to put in, but we'll see. I'm gonna need more of it probably. Yeah, there's a lot still. I think there's more than I actually needed, but definitely like that has a lot more metallic on it. So happier with that. Get started. Right. Oh, you know what? I did not water it down at all. I should probably do that, because I don't really want it to be as thick as it is right now. And this cheaper paint always ends up being a lot thicker than the good paints. So, all right. So, let's get a good amount of paint in here. Just for now, it should provide us with, might be too much. Ooh. I think I'm gonna steal some of this. Let's see if I can spread it out. I do like the texture that this ends up giving it. And I don't like how much of the edge you can see, so since I have plenty of paint, I'm going to try to get it mostly tacked up, just to where even on the inside we have some coloring on the actual metal. I guess that would have been a reason to not, everything's shaking, sorry. I guess that would have been a reason to not even paint the sprues, since I'm essentially just turning it back into a gray color. But this does give it a little bit more variety and was a lot easier to not be careful painting. Nice. Right. Alright, so that definitely gives it a little more of a metal feel on that, and the gray stands out a lot better to me against this backdrop, or against the pieces there. So I'm going to grab the other one and just do the same thing while I have a ton of this paint left. trying to be as careless as I can be, because I think the more random and crazy I do it, the better it will end up looking for less effort. We'll see. Get some more color on this, guys. All right, not bad. This one I definitely did not add much texture because I was worried I'd run out of paint. So let's see. Pretty good as far as just making a mess goes. It makes it feel a lot better. I feel like it has some more going on at least. I don't know how much I love it, but it certainly works better. This side I made kind of too big of a mess on. If I can clean any of that off. Actually, let's see. Not the best, but it's taking it off, which I'm happy with because that's too much. Definitely had too much. Alright. But it feels a lot better. These guys are a little bright. I'm going to throw some paint in there. Just to darken up that yellow that I threw in there, because that yellow ends up feeling way too bright. Alright. There. Well, there. This base is sticky after my spray adhesive. Guess I should have assumed that. Let's see how long it takes to fully dry. I think it'll take a while. The adhesive is good for 15 minutes, but I'm not sure how long that means it should be staying. Alright. I was going to do more colors, but I think that actually serves my purpose better. I don't want to spend so much time and effort on this. And we've got 2 ruins.